All right, I'll get started. As far as the injuries that we talked about last night, there's nothing new to report with the injuries with Sam Kamara. He is in the concussion protocol. Roquan Smith with his hamstring and Marquise Goodwin with his foot. So we'll continue to work through those. We kind of have a little bit of a mini bye here right now, so that'll be it does help us with that a little bit. When I watch the tape and you watch the game, there's a lot of things that you see that I talked about last night. I thought the defense really for most of the game did a great job with the possessions that they had. They had those two long drives where they were not long, but they had the two drives scoring touchdowns. Offensively, the big red zone, 25, 35-yard line, we can be better there. Had that interception, took points off the board. But then to finish with that drive like we did, and then get into that mode where that third down where we were able to get a completion, milk the clock down, and then kick the field goal. Situational football for us. Special teams, nothing changes from yesterday, what I said. So, again, biggest thing, guys will get some rest right now, and we'll go ahead and start preparing for Arizona.
What's the conversation like when you guys get down at the 4? Do you think that they may let you score if you actually if you hand the ball off versus taking any?
You saying right before when we were taking the QB kneels?
Yeah.
Yeah, they could, knowing that they're out of timeouts. It's a helpless feeling, and defenses have calls in their playbook where they not only let you score, but they grab you and throw you in the end zone. So that's where and we were after a few more plays, we were like, damn, Andy, don't keep losing too many yards on the QB kneels. I think it was 1st and goal at the 4, and it ended up being. We lost a total of, I think, 5 or 7 yards that we lost total. But being at the 4 when that happened, we still felt pretty good about it.
When you went back through that drive, what were some of the plays kind of you highlighted just in terms of how it all came together?
Yeah, just a good mix of balance of run and pass. I thought Bill did a good job of keeping that going. We had some nice runs from under center, so the scramble that Andy had. But just a good mix. And then once you get to a part with you start seeing the clock tick down, and you see their timeout situation, and now you got to start saying, okay, are we in our church mode, which is where we don't, we end up doing what we did there at the end, which is winning it on the field goal and not giving them the ball back. And so there's discussions as the situations are going on as to when we get into that mode based off of their timeout. So all of that said, I thought our coaches did a good job of communicating that, and then the players executing it. We talk about it every week, and we practice it, and we talk about it every single week, and it doesn't always happen. And so that's why it was good to – and it's a risk. It's a risk. If you don't make that field goal, I'm the one that has to go up to that podium. That's a risk. So, but it ends up working for you.
You always talk about next man up. How nice was it to see someone like Damiere Byrd make those
Great.
third down?
I'm super happy for Damiere. A guy that had 60 catches last year comes in here, hasn't had near that, but a true pro. He does everything what you ask. He stays in his lane. He's somebody that we trust immensely. I think he deserves a lot of credit. He had some big-time catches yesterday, a couple of them on scrambles, and then the one at the end there. That's who he is. He's a really good player, and I think he fits a great role for us.
Is Jakeem Grant giving you something that maybe you used to have with Tariq Cohen within the offense?
Yeah, there's a little of that. I could see that. It's a good comparison. Jakeem is somebody that you see he's for his size and his stature, he's super tough. Being able to run back on kickoffs and punts, and now we're able to move him around and do different things. When he was here with Miami in the scrimmage, you could see there's some really good clips of him running some great routes on the outside. But yet when you get him on the inside, you put him at the running back position, you get him mismatched on a safety or a linebacker, you can do different things. They got to know where he's at, and they played that one jet sweep really well on the edge, and he was still able to get around and not make it a 4-yard loss. So, I think that's a good comparison.
You guys have had several days now with Justin and the injury to handle on this. Can you tell us, is it cracked ribs, and what is he able to do right now, and what are your expectations as far as the length of this injury?
Yeah, I don't know the length of it. I can confirm that of him having the cracked ribs, but at the same point in time, he's moving around pretty good. I mean, we got to see, we have some time on our side right now to declare as to where he's at, and every day matters for him. I think he's doing a good job of, keeping the communication open, but we're going to have to wait and see truly where his health is at to the point of him being able to play, not play, and then we don't want to obviously risk more injury to him as well.
Has he thrown or run at all since then, or even been immobilized?
Yeah, there hasn't been throwing, so, but that's stuff that will, you got to be careful with that right away when it happens. So everything that Dre says and our doctors and trainers say, that's what we'll follow, and then he's just got to communicate with his pain.
Is his discomfort level pretty bad at this point?
You'd have to ask him that. I mean, it's just from what we see. You see him out there pregame and you see how he is. I mean, he seems fine, but it's ribs, so you gotta handle. I think everyone probably treats him a little bit different. Their pain levels. He's tough, so he might tell us that it's not that bad, and it's maybe where you just don't know.
You look pretty good in those dance videos, though.
in the dance videos, is there one out? Yeah. Where is it at?
Just on social media.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, he's a good dancer now. He's done that from the first day he got here. He's a quiet kid, but when the music comes on, he gets going now. He has some moves.
Since you've been here, and even before that, with Ryan and the type of guys he's bringing into this team, the professionalism, understanding that you're still 4-17.
Yeah.
In what ways did the makeup of the roster help you get through the last few days?
It's helped a lot, and I think you make a good point. Ryan and I. As you construct this roster and as you work together to make decisions, that part is it's key. And some people say, well, you talk about the culture and it doesn't matter, it doesn't help you win, but it does certainly help in times like what we've gone through, and not just this year, but anytime you lose in general, you want people that are going to support each other. And I think it's safe to say the last several days have been a higher level of distractions. And so when you have people that trust each other and believe in one another, it starts with the relationship that Ryan and I have, and then what we've done. Now, you want to have that, but you also want to have great players too, and that's where we feel like we have that. And yesterday showed that to who they are as players, and that's why it made us proud for that. And again, to win 4-7, and how we did, it doesn't matter. We want to get the win, and to be able to break that 5-game losing streak. Pretty good Ravens team, pretty good. They're 7-3. They took a 66-yard field goal to win the game, and Minnesota same thing, and Pittsburgh in overtime, and Cleveland by 3. So that Detroit team is I know they haven't won, but they fight hard, and they made it very difficult.
How do you quantify having to potentially play without Roquan for a while?
Well, I think everybody understands and knows how I feel about Roquan and the type of football player he is on Sunday, but I don't know if people truly understand who he is as a leader of this team, not just the defense, but the team in general. And so, you see that happen with the hamstring, and we'll keep an eye on it, and who knows how long it is, You keep your fingers crossed for that, but he's a big part of this thing, and his true professionalism, the way the respect that he has from his teammates, from his coaches, it's rare, and he's been only getting better every year, and this year is probably his best year.
Is there any thought that it's an IR stint?
With Roquan, again, I hope not. We'll work through all that, and we'll know more as the time goes.
Tough, because the hamstring's sort of a tough one to push through. Like if it's an ankle sprain, maybe a guy can.
Yeah, the soft tissues, you never know. Everyone's a little bit different. It depends on the magnitude and the level of hamstrings. We all, it's everybody gets them, and they're all probably a little bit different on how many have you ever had in your career, how do you respond to them, all that. So he'll be doing everything he can to get right.
And on the day, the ground game wasn't as effective as it's been, as effective as it was the last time you played the Lions. What did you see on the tape that told you there was a problem there?
Yeah, I thought I agree with you on that, and I think that there were some things that they did early on where they were going to try to take away the run game and stuff, still be able to try to play cover 2 on the back end and still add some guys and create a 7-man box and try to stuff the run that way. And I thought we did a good job of counterattacking that through the pass game. You know, we were able to get that going and get some chunks. You saw the 2-play drive for a touchdown, pass for however many yards that was. And but you got to still stay honest and stay persistent with the run. And so we had some, I think we had one 12-yard run. Other than that, we didn't have many more. We had 7 or 8 explosive passes, which was good. It was just one of those days. We would have loved to be able to, maybe get the run game going a little bit more for the averages that we had. But we can't get away from that. We can't. I mean, you got to credit Detroit. They did a good job.
Man, we were talking in here the other day, you made a comment, I don't know if it was just a slip, you said running this offense for 10 years. Do you consider this still Andy Reid's offense, or is this your version of Andy Reid's offense?
Well, I think it's a great question, but there's concepts within this offense that there's a lot of concepts within this offense in the pass game that is a part of that. And when you say, Coach Reid's offense, probably if you'd ask them from the years that I have not been there, their offense has changed a lot too. Offenses do evolve; they change for different reasons, whether it's the pass game or the run game, based off of your players' strengths and weaknesses. And so there's a good mix. I think for us being together for this being the 4th year, you would say that it's certainly different than 2018 and even 19. So as you kind of grow through who your players are and what they do well and don't do well, or you need to get better at, you can change some things and adapt. And we're always doing it. Every team is doing that, trying to fit and see what their identity is each year.
The quarterback situation, their scenario here has been interesting ever since you drafted Fields. I mean, yesterday you saw Dalton's experience matters. It's a benefit. But you also seen Fields, obviously, is the future. Now that it's played out as it has, how do you feel about the difficulty of managing it? And, I mean, is there anything you would have done differently or wish you had done differently? And how do you look to the future playing it out as far as Dalton versus?
Yeah, no, I think to keep it really simple, and you guys you've asked me this last week or 2 weeks, whenever it was, when Justin is healthy, he's the starter. You know what I mean? So that keeps it pretty simple. And we just got to be able to manage that. Like, what's the definition of healthy so that he's okay and we're okay with him being able to play. So that's that part. And then to a situation where you have a guy go down with an injury like Justin did, to have a guy like Andy and Nick Foles behind him, it puts you in a situation like yesterday where you feel really good about going into that game because of the experience. And Andy also, to his credit, has totally accepted how this has gone down the way it is, and I think that's a credit to him. So now, knowing what I just told you, that when Justin is healthy, he's the starter, it makes it fairly simple. You know what I mean? He's done a great – Justin was really growing and getting better, and I think we all saw that. He's having great moments. Are there places that he can get better and we can help him get better? For sure. That's a rookie year. That happens. That's a part of developing a rookie quarterback. You know what I mean? That's going to happen. But his confidence. I think yesterday was good for Justin. No matter when we talked about it, he sees it from a different perspective on the sideline. And now there's some things that maybe he takes that he can use yesterday's experience to make him better for when he does come back.
But in the total picture, has the dynamic been a little more challenging than maybe you would have thought in March or May or whatever? You know what I'm saying? Is it just
No, because I don't think you don't know what's going to happen when you have a plan and you set the plan and you knew what that plan was. And again, like that goes to the report that was out there, right? About there was a report out there that George made the decision to start Justin. That couldn't, there's been some false stuff going on. That couldn't be furthest from the truth. You know what I mean? So like that goes kind of that question. When you have a plan and you know what the plan is, and you go with it. And here we are where Andy got hurt. Justin comes in. Justin's the starter. Justin gets hurt. When Justin's back to being healthy, he's back in. And when you have that plan, you stick to it, and you don't look back. And so I just think that, I think we can all. And this is kind of what we've talked about with our team and with our coaches is, the last 72 hours was kind of crazy, right? And I think we've all learned, I know we all inside this building have learned that, things can be said and are said and can be a little bit blown out of proportion. The abrupt meeting that was canceled, that's another one just to be extremely clear on that, and this probably will help you all out when I tell you. So when you have a walkthrough practice, right, and a short week, typically you have a Wednesday and Thursday on a normal week, a Wednesday and Thursday practice. As y'all know, we have a walkthrough in the morning, and you have practice in the afternoon, full speed, and then you have post-practice meetings for 45 minutes with your position coaches. When you have a short week or a Thanksgiving week, you morph a Thursday and Friday together as a practice, and they were all walkthrough practices. So what happens is the part of, on Fridays, you don't have post-practice meetings. There's none. Well, that was a Friday practice for us on that Tuesday. That's a Friday practice. So on the schedule, it had post-practice meetings, which was an error. It was not supposed to be on the schedule. So just so you guys understand the big picture, before I talked to the team, I made it in a joking way, let them know, hey, you guys know today's a Friday practice. There's no there's no post-practice meetings on a Friday. And also, don't forget to pack your travel bags. And then I talked to the team. So the abrupt meeting that was canceled because I'm getting fired is to a point of like, you can't make that. I mean, it's almost comical. You can't make that up. So I think, I just think that there's three things. Now, is this going to stop? No, it's probably going to continue. There's still going to be rumors that happen. But as long as we understand as players and coaches and everyone in this building what's real and what the truth is, then we're okay. And I think we just showed that yesterday. You know what I mean? So I just want to make that nice and clear before we start. I think it's important you all understand that because, I'll help you with that. I'll help you with it.
I was going to say, that, last night you answered, most of the questions you answered after the game was about all this. Do you imagine that put this issue behind you completely? Do your players, I mean, you just mentioned it's probably going to continue.
Yeah.
Is there anything you learned from the last 72 hours that
Yeah.
helped with that?
No, I just think the biggest thing that we learned together in this building is knowing that, yeah, that comes with the territory, and they are distractions. Like I said yesterday, how do you handle those distractions? There's a right and wrong way to handle them. The wrong way is you let it affect you. We didn't do that, and we haven't, and we won't. We also, you stay ahead of it by knowing, like I just said, like not just us, but other players. There's going to be more distractions. That's just natural. But when you know the truth, it makes it a lot easier. And I think our communication in this building, including George,